On tonight's episode, we're going to be taking a look at one of Mel Gibson's classic films, and I have a special guest with me. So get your White Castles and Icy, because it's movie night. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Movie Night, the show where we take a look at films of new and old. I'm your host, Justin Purser, and tonight I have a very special guest with me, a very good friend of mine, Mr. Joshua Ruark. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Josh has been a good friend, like I said, and we were talking last week, and you showed some interest of coming on the show.
Yeah, I was really intrigued by what Justin was doing, and I'm just like, hey, let's do a movie review together.
Yeah, and I really liked that idea. I thought a two-person sort of review could be interesting, and so we're going to give it a shot. So, what are we reviewing? The choice for the movie tonight is actually one you chose. So, why don't you tell everyone what we're doing?
Well, tonight we're going to be reviewing one of the greatest classics of all time, probably Mel Gibson's finest, and that is Braveheart.
I came back home to raise crops and, God willing, a family.
So you want me to marry you then?
Well, that's a bit sudden, but all right.
Is that what you call a proposal?
I love you. Always have. I want to marry you.
In a land of timeless beauty, William Wallace was a man of peace.
I want to stay here with you.
And I with you.
You say you want to stay out of the troubles? If I can live in peace, I will.
So Braveheart is directed by Mel Gibson, and it also stars himself, and IMDb describes it like this. William Wallace, a commoner, unites the 13th century Scots in their battle to overthrow English rule. Now, you were just saying how that synopsis totally didn't capture, the whole thing of what the actual movie's about.
Well, the tale of William Wallace is a lot more than just him going around conquering the Englishmen. The story of William Wallace is the story of a man and how he overcomes the trials and hardships of life. And that usually those trials are caused by the English. So this story mainly is about all the hardships that he overcomes.
So Braveheart stars Mel Gibson, who's done movies like The Patriot, Lethal Weapon, and We Were Soldiers. And he's done a few more recent films, but you really can't beat classic Mel Gibson. And I think you'll agree, those films were when he was just in his prime.
Yeah, classic Mel Gibson is probably Braveheart and We Were Soldiers, like you said. Braveheart was probably at the very top of Mel Gibson's golden age of movies.
I agree. It's a really good film, and I think what really makes it for me, Josh, and we both agreed on this last night when we were reviewing the film, is the music. James Horner composed the film, and he's done movies like Titanic, Troy, and Avatar, and so his sound, it's very close to, I think he's almost over Hans Zimmer for me. Hans Zimmer's my all-time favorite. John Williams is obviously amazing too, but really Hans Zimmer and James Horner, those guys.
Another thing about James Horner is he truly captures the feeling of Scotsmen, those warrior poets. And also, another person who he reminds me of is Bill Conti, who did the Rocky movies, who is very well known for that. But another thing that really got me, Justin, was the cinematography. John Toll, who also did Last Samurai, Tropic Thunder, and is now working on Iron Man 3, the pre-production.
Yeah.
And what he really does is he captures the landscapes. He captures them perfectly.
Oh, yeah. The backdrop, the portrait backdrop they had for this film was stunning. I mean, some of the aerials that we see, everything is just so vast and gorgeous. He just makes you want to live there. If there's one country I could live, it would definitely be in Scotland.
Yeah.
I mean, especially after this movie. And the real driving force for this film was the story, obviously. Mel Gibson, the amount of emotion he's able to pack to this film is amazing. And for me, it's about William Wallace, and it's about him not really wanting to get into the political arena, not wanting to, abstaining from violence. Yep. He just wanted to live his life with his wife. He wanted to have his home like his father did. Because the one thing that he had was the love for his wife, and that's the only thing he had. Once they take that from him, he instantly, the only thing he has left is this fight for freedom. It's to get revenge against Longshanks and the English. And so that's what he does. One of my favorite parts in the film, in the beginning, was whenever young William is still a boy, and he's having a dream about his father, and the camera's up high, and he rolls over to the side, and both father and son are facing each other. His father's obviously dead, but he's dreaming, and his father gives him that last bit of advice for him. That shot, everything, it really intrigued me. I like that one a lot.
Another driving force for me, Justin, was the connection between the father and the son in this movie. There are three main father and son scenes. One is the one that you just told. The other one is between Longshanks and his sissy of a son. Also, Robert the Bruce and his father, who gives the wrong advice, yet Robert the Bruce, he struggles with the loyalty of his friends, yet the royalty of his family. So he has to choose. Should he follow what a king would do, or what his father would do, his depiction of a king? Or should he go along with his friends, William Wallace, and see what it actually is like to go against the English instead of fight with them?
It can be a story of father and son. And like you mentioned it too, another thing we were watching the film, I think you said, is Longshanks, even though he despises William Wallace, he really does wish that his son was more like that.
Oh, yeah.
Fighting for what he believes in. And right now he has a coward of a son.
Longshanks wanted his son to be a great leader and a great fighter. And that is exactly what William Wallace is becoming. So in a way, he kind of wants William Wallace to be his son. Robert the Bruce and his father. It's a very interesting twist in the movie where his father is telling him that if you choose the greater side, your kingdom will live on and it will grow and expand. Yet Robert the Bruce knows that that is the wrong choice. Yet he does it anyway, merely because it is his father and he wants to serve out throughout the entire country.
Yeah, I think it's that relationship is actually one of the most intriguing because for Robert the Bruce, he feels like he has two loyalties, that he has two choices to choose from. What he really wants is to fight with William Wallace, because, and he even says in the movie, he says he believes in what he fights in. Robert the Bruce really wants that. He wants to have this feeling that he believes in what he's doing, and he doesn't have that right now because he's torn. He's torn between father, and I would say father, and that's linked to the political spectrum of the film, and then it's William Wallace. And he's just too sucked in to the political game that we even see nowadays. We were watching the film in the part with the, I wouldn't call it the, Senate, but that's what it reminded us
It's the congregation of the Scotsmen.
Yeah, exactly. And how they were arguing and trying to, and then William Wallace, and he says this awesome line, and maybe we could show the clip.
It's sort of kind of a story like today. Most people, they're too involved in the politics to see what's really going on, to really get out there into the action.
Yeah, and William Wallace's whole thing was, he's like, we've won here, but we have to march on. We're not going to stay here and, be corrupt in this bureaucratic process that's not going to get anything done. If you want anything done, you have to go and do it. And they were too tied up in the red tape to realize that. So another interesting relationship in the story is the one between the princess and William Wallace, and even her husband.
If you would call it a husband?
Yeah, I don't know. I know, for the whole movie, I kept on thinking that there was something going on between the prince and his aide.
No, this is gonna get sketchy.
I'm just saying it was awkward. I'll leave it at that. But no, the relationship between William Wallace and the princess is interesting because definitely William Wallace is what she would want in her husband, and the story of the loveful vengeance that he takes out over Longshanks and his men and the English is something that's very attractive for her. So all in all, Braveheart is a fantastic film, one of Mel Gibson's finest. If you haven't seen it, we both strongly suggest you do so.
Oh yeah.
It is rated R, so keep that in mind. But I'm definitely going to give it 5 stars. It's a phenomenal film, and it really you can watch it over and over, and it doesn't get old.
Never gets old. Well, Justin, thanks for having me. It was awesome.
No problem. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Oh yeah.
So that about wraps things up for tonight's episode of Movie Night. We hope you enjoyed yourself. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Leave a movie that you'd like to see reviewed by us, by either just me or maybe Josh will come back again. So until next time, I'm Justin Purser.
And I'm Josh Rourke, and make sure you throw away your popcorn and trash when you exit the theater.
This is Movie Night, and you keep watching movies.
Oh, yeah.